Okay, guys, so I know it's been kind of crazy. We were traveling and stuff, or I was last week. So Haley jumped in and changed it up. So we had been talking about the network marketing business in 15 minutes a day. And the next little portion, Haley and I were talking about it, and we decided that, like, yeah, we're going to talk about the next portion of the read, but we also want to kind of detour and talk a little bit more or expand on the idea of the warm market versus cold market and how to know when you're wasting your time and therefore not being efficient. So in that, obviously, sorry, more waiting room. If you don't know what your warm market and your cold market is and the difference, your warm market is the people that know you, that you've already built that like, no trust with, that pretty much just will want to hear what you have to say, and they're going to trust you the second you come out the gate with whatever you are recommending to them. You've built that repertoire with them, and they're not going to doubt you if you say something, or they know you well enough to believe when you say, hey, this is good, you should try this. Versus a cold market is somebody that doesn't know you. They don't know you from Adam. Like, if you saw them on the street, they don't know your name. They have no idea you said, hey, you should try this. They're like, okay, cool. Like, that's awesome. What is it? Like, they don't even question whether you know what you're talking about or not. So when it comes to, we hear a lot about cold messaging, and we as a team on Thrive Army, we don't like to cold message. That's something that we kind of take pride in setting ourselves apart from. We would rather build the relationships and build that warm market. I know when I first came in, I reached out to my warm market and said, hey, look, I'm doing this. If you or anybody you know are interested, let me know. And I didn't view that as a cold message because it was my warm market. But I'm also not going into my Facebook page and picking the most random people that I haven't talked to since high school, technically know me then, or knew me rather, and reaching out to them and saying, hey, thrive with me. Let's do this. Let's, let me send you all these products, because they do see that very much as a cold message. So Haley and I were talking about, like, how to know when to stop or go when you're doing your reach outs. And you really want to be looking for open-minded people, because you're going to come across a lot, especially today, the way things are in the world. You have a lot of closed-minded people that want to argue with you. They want to prove that they know more than you do when it comes to certain things. And one of the biggest things you can do when it comes to being efficient is reaching to the open-minded people and the people that want to learn. They want to grow in their knowledge with certain topics. And they're not going to just shut you down the second you try to talk to them about something. So Haley had a lot of really good points with that. And so I want to give her the floor for a little bit to talk about that. I'm throwing it. Surprise. I think when she was talking to me about it, I loved what she was saying with it. So I wanted you guys to hear it from her.
So yeah, we were talking about it this morning, and it's funny that Heather brought this up because I had this happen recently. So I wanted to share with you guys how I handled it and what it really meant to me. And not only that, being able to be confident in yourself as a promoter, because there are going to be people that are going to try to prove you wrong. They're going to try to tell you that this is a fad. They're going to compare Thrive to every other health network marketing business, or even health in general. So one of the biggest things is finding people that value this as much as you do. And I even used one of my new promoters as an example. She knew that this was something that she loved. She is all in, she learns and everything. And those are sometimes the people that are going to, in return, show you, it's almost like validation of the products, because we know what we have our hands on, but there are going to be people that are going to test you on your knowledge as a promoter. I'm going to walk out. as a promoter because they are experiencing self-doubt within themselves. And I'm so sorry. My husband's supposed to be watching my child and he's not. So those are the people that are going to test you, and they're going to make you question the validation behind it. So one of the biggest things is we're always looking for potentials. We're always looking to get this product in someone's hands that needs it because we know what it did for us. But there are going to be people, and I want to give you an example. There was a customer of mine. She got a 3-day mini. She loved it. And actually she's a customer of a promoter under me, but I kind of like, they tag me and everything too, so I can kind of teach and, whatever. So the girl made a post that she's, asking who had tried Thrive, that she was loving it and all this. Well, there was a girl that commented and apparently had tried it in the past and started down talking the company, the products, the promoters, was nasty. And I had to choose right then and there, which way do I go? Which way do I portray myself as a Lavelle promoter to preserve my integrity, the integrity of the company and the products? I could have easily argued with her. I could have easily went back and forth 50 comments and been like, nope, read this article. I could have done that, but I didn't because it wasn't worth it. She'd already had her mindset that the products were too expensive right out the gate. Even when I said there are ways to thrive for free, I'm a promoter. I also have, ways to help you get started. Whatever the case may be, it was negative, 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 negative. She couldn't make up her mind whether it was the product she didn't like, the price point, the company, the fact that she called it a pyramid scheme. It's those triggers that you can see that was not a even potential that I was going to pursue because it wasn't worth it. She's going to continue to watch the person that's thriving and eventually will make one of two decisions: continuing to be miserable, or she's going to decide to change. And that is where Heather was talking about. People have to have it in their mind. It has to be their choice that they are ready to make a change, because you cannot stand over them and say, take your Thrive this morning, get up, take your capsules. You cannot go to their house knocking on their window every morning, hey, get up, time to take your capsules. They have to be ready. But there are going to be those people even that order from you and they swear up and down they're ready. And then we and Heather talked about this too. The whole first month, every other day you're getting a message. Well, I'm not losing weight. I'm not doing this. Well, are you changing your lifestyle? I will quickly ask, how are your eating habits? How much water are you drinking? Are you still drinking your sodas? I will quickly nip that in the bud, because I talk to my customers about all of these things before they order. If they continue to still eat Dunkin' Donuts every morning for breakfast, they're not being active, they're not drinking water, they're still drinking their sodas, and they're constantly messaging you complaining, at some point you have to decide, is this a customer that is worth my mental state?
I think, yeah, and Courtney said from the very beginning too, I know on a lot of trainings, but I think the most efficient question when talking to a potential customer, a potential promoter, anybody really that wants to know more about Thrive, the bottom dollar, the big question is, are you looking for a change, or are you just content where you are? What do you really want? Because if you want change, either direction, as a customer with your health or as a promoter with the business side of things, whatever, if you want a change bad enough, you are going to make the moves necessary. Just, put in the money, put in the, investment, whatever, to get that change. If you don't, you're not going to do it. If you're content where you are, then be content where you are, but don't complain if nothing's happening. And that relates to so many things in life in general. But at the end of the day, when you are reaching out to potential customers, promoters, whatever, I think that's one of the first questions that should be asked is, are you content or do you want to change? What are you looking to change? Is it your health? Is it your energy? I mean, we all go to those questions when we're talking to potentials, but carry that over to promoters, because if they truly are not content where they sit, that's one of the most efficient things you can do, is reach out and say, what about this? What about your life? What about your current circumstances is going to drive you to make those changes necessary? And those can become some of your best team members that you could adopt as part of your team, if they're truly motivated because they're not happy with where they are. Side note, plug, like, I think we're all kind of feeling that in February, and I think that's something we all need to ask ourselves as well. Are you content with where you are? Are you content with your QV? Are you content with your rank advancement situation? Or you want to make some changes and do something different? Because you can stay stuck. That's a personal choice. If you're not willing to put in the effort, then we'll just sit stuck. But if you're willing to put in the work, and make those changes, then we can do that. We can do it however you want, but we're not going to foster things that just want to sit stuck. I'm not going to try to convince someone, and even in a customer situation like Haley was talking about in the comments, I'm not going to convince someone that this is for them. If they don't see that for themselves and they don't see the changes that need to be made, I'm not going to waste my time, because there are plenty of people that, when presented the opportunity, will see it quickly. And it's just finding those people. So a lot of this, like we said, knowing when to stop and go with potentials, a lot of that comes down to that question: are they content to just sit stuck, or do they want to make some changes? And if they want to make some changes, now we can have a conversation about what changes you want to make and what you're willing to do to make those changes. So yeah, absolutely know your warm market, your cold market, and who you need to reach out to, how to approach them in that. But at the end of the day, everybody can be asked that question of, are you content or do you need some changes in your life? And go from there. Because if they're content, don't even argue with them. Don't sit and be in the comments. Haley said, she could have commented back and forth 50 comments. But now, yeah, you're putting a bad taste in someone else's mouth. A potential customer could come along who really is ready for a change and see all those comments arguing back and forth, and it's not worth it. That could be another customer that's ready to jump on board, maybe even turn promoter if they really love the products like we all do. So we also just build that like no trust, like we talk about, with your cold market, with your warm market, with anybody. If they're not ready, that's okay, because the more they watch you and the more they see consistency, the more they will become interested and start asking the right questions. Even those most stubborn people that are closed-minded, over time may soften. So that's not to say if they're very closed-minded to delete them, block them, don't talk to them. Just say, okay, that's fine, because you can do it with me or you can watch. And if you're going to sit on the sidelines and watch, I can't tell you how many people have come up months later and suddenly they have questions and they're interested and they need a change. So it's okay if people aren't ready when you want them to be ready. Don't quit, don't give up on them. Just kind of put those on your list of people to keep in touch with in RCM. So does anybody have questions or want to add comments and stuff? Haley, you got anything else?
I just wanted to, I know we touched on it when we were talking earlier, but the whole rank advancement situation, I know everyone is like running, and maybe you're not seeing the exact numbers you want to see and things like that, but I want you guys to realize, and I'm even realizing this myself, growth is growth. Let's say you added one new promoter last month. Okay, that's one new promoter that you didn't have the month before. You're struggling to re-rank every month, but this month you're not struggling as hard. That's growth. We talk about this all the time in like you know, we want this, we want the rank advancement, we want the bonuses, and yes, it can happen, but please be patient and give yourself some grace when you are seeing growth, and don't tell yourself it isn't enough growth. Growth is growth, no matter what size it is. And I think that really goes back to like the whole burnt out situation, and being efficient and making sure you're taking the time when you can to work your business, and not feeling like I have to do more, I have to do more, I have to do more. It may just be, instead of doing 50 RCMs and then none for 4 days, maybe doing 5 every single day. Every single day. You know, don't burn yourself out one day and then you just are like, I'm just tired, I'm not going to do it for 4 more days. Your growth is your growth, and that is one thing that you can own, is your growth. So I know that everyone's running for rank advancement. You guys are killing it. You're doing amazing. And just remember that every little thing, if you're not struggling this month as hard to even re-rank, that is something to celebrate. So that's all I needed to.
What is the cliche saying? It's like shoot for the moon, and even if you miss, you'll land among the stars. I always think of that when it comes to it. You know, set your bar a little bit higher. You know, if you're going for 40K, set your bar for 45, for 50, for whatever, so that if you fall short, you still hit it. And it's, say you come to 35 instead of 40. Okay, but where were you last month? Is that still progress? I think that's what, you know, that's where Haley's getting at. Like, if that's progress compared to last month, great, you know, and rank advancement is a big deal. But as long as there's growth, eventually you're going to hit those ranks. But don't be content in falling short and selling yourself short. So I hope that you guys took something away from that, and I hope that that helps you in growing your business more efficiently. And like I said, lean on that one question for anybody. You know, is this something that you are willing to make changes in your life, in your lifestyle, in your day-to-day, to grow and succeed in this area, or are you content where you are? Because if you're content where you are, it's a waste of time trying to convince somebody that they need these changes. So I hope that that was beneficial. And if anybody has questions or comments or anything, please feel free to ask. If you want suggestions or need help with any specific circumstance or situation, feel free to reach out in the chats. Always looking to help people with things like that. And don't forget about mindset tonight, because that's a big one, and it's always really good. That's at 6 p.m. Central on this Zoom number for the Thrive Army. So appreciate you guys joining us, and hope that mid-month mindsets. What do you mean, Casey? Hope that you guys took something away, and look forward to seeing you guys tonight. Mindset. Nobody has questions? Thanks, guys. Oh, they're needed and super beneficial. Yeah, mid-month. We're past that point as of yesterday. So thank you guys, and we'll see you tonight.